What's up, YouTube? It's St. Patrick, and Boku no Hero Academia came out yesterday, and it was a flashback chapter, but it was pretty interesting. There was also another little mini chapter which I want to talk about, but not right now. But we see the flashback starting from last week when Deku was having his dream. It's about, we see All For One and his brother, the first user of One For All. They're talking or whatever, and Deku, he can only move his right hand and his eyes, and he can see the other users of One For All, and he can see the other users of One For All except I think one or two, and him and All For One and One For All are talking. I don't remember their names, but pretty much we kind of see how the One For All quirk started. All For One, he was feeling a little he was feeling sad and pitiful for his little brother. He still loved him, but he thought of him as pathetic, and he couldn't handle a quirk that big, so he did give him One For All to, and he could handle it. And then we also see kind of where he's this manipulative creature. There's this one guy with a quirk. It gives him like spikes for jaws or whatever. He don't want it. He visits his parents. He's pretty much a good natured dude, but society looks at him funny because of how he looks. And then you have another guy who doesn't have a quirk, but he wants a quirk for himself just to defend himself, and he ended up, I guess, he got jumped by some quirk users, and he had a stun gun, but it didn't work. So All For One, his whole idea is, he was able to take the guy with the spikes and give the quirkless dude his quirk. So the guy with the spikes, he doesn't have, he looks normal, and that made him happy. And then the other guy's happy because he can defend himself. And All For One, he's telling them to just pledge allegiance to me. I helped you out, so be there when you need me. So we kind of see how he built his whole empire by manipulating people into helping them, and then just serving him later on. And what else happened? We also see something interesting. His brother looks a lot like Shigaraki, which could have played a part in why he picked him to be his successor. And he references comics. He referenced the comic book in the chapter. So we're kind of maybe seeing his similarity to Shigaraki, where they kind of look at stuff as a video game, a comic book, and stuff like that. And pretty much he's One For All. He's telling them that the good people always win or whatever, and All For One's not hearing it. And Deku, he tried to reach out and help, but he couldn't do anything. And then I'm gonna butcher this dude's name, Ayama, the guy with the belly button quirk. I guess he overheard something, and then he walked to Deku's room, and the room looks a little trash, looks a little like trash, looks a little messed up. And like Deku, like in his sleep, he just kind of went crazy for a minute. And Deku, he sees like a little mark on his arm, and we don't know what that is yet. And I'm assuming next chapter, but I think it's on break for the holiday. And that was pretty much it. We know pretty much that how All For One works. It gets stronger each generation. And I think it was mentioned that Deku only has 20%, which is also why I don't think he could see everybody in that vision. And then quirk singularity is also brought up. It is an interesting concept, but I don't know how long the manga is actually going to go for it to even get to that point where quirks are going to be to the point where they can't be controlled. So that was pretty much, it. Just a little flashback chapter. About stuff we kind of knew. It did get a little more in depth, But you know, it was cool seeing the old version of All for One, and then you know just him and how his actions and how he rose to power. So that was pretty much it for the chapter. Nothing really special. But other than that, you know, that's pretty much it. So on that